The Fore people of Papua New Guinea's eastern highlands had a word for it. Kuru, to shake. It began with a tremor in the fingers, subtle enough to dismiss. Then the feet, then the torso. Within months, the body could no longer stand. Speech slurred into fragments. But the mind stayed. Patients remained fully conscious, watching themselves come apart. And then something stranger. Involuntary laughter. Western physicians who encountered these symptoms in the 1950s called it the laughing death. No cure, no cause anyone could name. Vincent Ziegas and Carlton Gajdusek arrived in the Fore region in 1957. They documented a clinical progression that defied every known category of disease. Tremor became ataxia, the collapse of coordination. Ataxia became immobility. Death followed within 6 to 12 months. But the pattern held something more disturbing. Women and children died at vastly higher rates than men. Some villages lost nearly every adult woman. No pathogen anyone could isolate explained this. No toxin in the water. No parasite in the soil. The disease moved slowly, selectively, as if it knew exactly who to find. The answer did not lie in pathology alone. It lay in grief. The Fore practiced a form of funerary endocannibalism. Anthropologists call it transumption. When someone died, their body was consumed by relatives as an act of mourning. Not as violence, not as desperation, as love. The Fore believed that absorbing the dead into the living body kept them from decay in the ground, kept them from insects, kept them present among the living. Different parts of the body were distributed among kin. The brain, the tissue that would prove most lethal, was primarily handled and consumed by women and children. That single cultural detail explains the demographic pattern that had mystified every physician. 1959. A veterinary scientist named William Hadlow noticed something no one else had. Kuru's brain lesions looked almost identical to Scrapie, a neurodegenerative disease in sheep. This was no ordinary pathogen. This was something biology had no framework for. Gajdusek pushed further. He injected Kuru-infected brain tissue into chimpanzees. They developed the disease. Published in 1966, this proved Kuru was transmissible by an agent no one could see, culture, or identify. Then came the name. In 1982, Stanley Prusiner coined the word prion, a misfolded protein. No DNA, no RNA. It replicates not by copying genetic code, but by touching neighboring proteins and forcing them into the same wrong shape. One molecule teaches others to misfold. Patient zero not of an organism, but of an idea. The prion does not trigger an immune response. It cannot be destroyed by standard sterilization. Not by boiling. Not by radiation. Not by formaldehyde. It is neither alive nor dead in any framework science had previously used. And it hides. The Fore stopped the practice of transumption in the late 1950s under Australian administrative pressure. The ritual ended. The gesture was gone, but the consequence did not. Decades passed. New Kuru cases continued to appear in people who had not participated in the rituals for 30, 40, even 50 years. A study published in the Lancet in 2006 documented incubation periods exceeding half a century. People who stopped the practice in the 1950s were still dying from it in 2005. Approximately 2,704 people died from Kuru over 5 decades. The last known patients were dying as late as 2009. Every human culture has rituals surrounding death. We bury. We burn. We embalm. We mummify. Each of these practices carries a biological signature we almost never examine. The Fore story is not a warning about one people. It is a demonstration that love and danger are not opposites. Sometimes they share the same gesture. The Fore believed that consuming their dead was the most profound act of love available to them. The body of the person you mourned became part of you, literally, cellularly. And hidden inside that devotion was something no one could have predicted. Not a bacterium, not a virus, a single misfolded protein. A wrong shape that taught other shapes to be wrong. The epidemic is over. But for over half a century, the consequence outlived the love that caused it.